Alright guys, Jeff from Kiss the Fish here. Today we're going to start a new series about beginner fishing, starting from square one. In this series I'm going to be talking with you guys about what type of fish you could be fishing for, what type of lures and baits you could be using, what types of reels you should choose, and what types of poles you can choose. Now, for today's video, we're going to start on one of the more basic reel and rod setups. These reels and rods have been tried and tested for years from many different fishermen. And they are going to be the Zebco series, reels and rods. This here is a Zebco 33. Most people, this is their very first reel. This is on a micro rod from Zebco. All right. Now this here, this is the Zebco 202. This is a slightly easier version of the 33, and by easier all I mean is there is a few less functions on there to simplify the fishing. This is also set up on a Zebco rod. This is a medium light. Now these are two-piece rods. What does that mean? That means these rods come apart for easy transport. It's raining outside pretty hard right now. Let's get into it. The 33, as I said, is one of the reels that most people start with. The features on this: your push button, your handle, you have an anti-reverse switch. I'll go over that with you in a few minutes. You have a drag dial, and you have the option to have a clicker on and off. The 202 has the push button, the handle, and the drag dial. Those are the only options on this. It simplifies it so that there's less things to have to worry about. How does this work? On the 33, the push button is how you will open up the spool in order to make a cast. What you will do is you will push this button, you will hold this button, and while you're holding it, the line's not going to come out, right? Any more than what the drag will allow. You'll wind your cast back, whether it's over your shoulder as an overhead cast, from the side as an underhand cast, and I'll show you these casts in a few minutes. And when you're about 3/4 the way through your cast, you'll release the button, and what will happen is the line becomes free. The spool opens up, and that allows the lure or the bait to go flying. To close that bail, you simply turn the handle, and the line starts to retract. The 33 has several features on it. It has an anti-reverse switch. What does this mean? Right now you can see the handle will not go backwards. If you flip this switch, the handle can go backwards. What is the point of this? Well, the point of this is if you are fishing, say bottom fishing, okay, and you cast it out, you have a worm and a weight on the line, and you're fishing for bullhead, or as I would call them, hornpout. You could be watching the line, or the pole tip, or the handle. If it starts going in reverse, you know that a fish is pulling the line out. Some people just set their drag really low, and then they wait to hear the drag starting to scream, and then they go and set the hook. For me, I don't do a lot of hornpout fishing on the Zebcos. I do it more on a spinning rod and a spinning reel. And I use an ultralight. That way I'm watching the tip of the pole flex. But we'll get into that in another video. You have a drag dial here, so you can adjust your drag settings. What does this mean? Well, if you tighten your drag dial, your line will not come out as easily off of the spool while a fish is on there. If you loosen your drag dial, your line comes out nice and easy if there's a fish on there. Now, what's the purpose of having tight or loose drag? Well, if you're fishing for small fish, such as panfish, i.e. perch, pumpkin seed, bluegill, maybe crappie, you'll want to have this drag set a little looser. That way, when the fish hits and you go to set the hook, you're not going to rip that hook right out of their mouth. There'll be a little flex in your drag. You don't want to have it so loose that when you're on the smallest of fish, it's not reeling at all. You want to find a nice little sweet spot. When would you want to tighten your drag? Let's say you're going fishing for bass or pickerel. You're going to want to have that drag set a little tighter, but not super tight. Why would you want to have it set a little tighter? Well, a bigger fish is going to keep pulling on that line. But you want that drag to still be able to come out enough so that that line's not going to snap. If you are fishing on a spoon or a spinner, you want to have a little bit of drag loose. That way when you go to set that hook, a lot of times the fish sets it for you. The fish will hit the spoon or the spinner and it'll go yoink, and you'll know that there's a fish on there because you'll hear as you pull back on the rod. With monofilament, which is in most Zebco style reels, mono is a single mono strand of line. With monofilament, there's going to be good flex. So if you're fishing on a spoon or a spinner, it'll give a nice amount of flex for when the fish goes to hit. Same goes for if you're fishing bobber fishing. If you're bobber fishing, you don't need to be using 40-pound braid that's got 8 strands in it. The idea of this type of line is for if you're fishing through weeds or mud or thick, and you're gonna be pulling out, 2, 3, 4-pound bass through 5 pounds of weeds. This reel also has one other option on it, and that is a clicker that can be turned on and off. What do I mean by a clicker? With the clicker set on, when you reel, you hear that little click. Some fishermen believe that that click can actually trigger the fish to get give you a nice strike. Some people use it just so that they can hear their return and know how fast the retrieve is going. I personally do not use a clicker on my reels. I turn it to silent mode. As you can see, you retrieve the line, no noise. On the 202, this is a very simple reel. There's the push button, which has the same function as the 33. You push it, and as you're holding it, the line doesn't come out until you let it go. Spool opens, line comes out. Turn the handle, closes the bail or the spool. This reel has the push button, the handle to retrieve the line, and a drag dial. And that's it. That's the only functions on this reel. This simplifies the fishing. If you're looking to just, hey, get out there, cast a rod and reel and pull in whatever you can, this is the one to go for. I'll put links for these rods and reels down in the description. Now let's get out there and see how these actually cast. On the Zebco 33, you're going to start by pushing the button and holding. This is going to open the bail but still hold the line. What you're going to do after you're holding the button, you're going to put the pole behind you, and you're going to go forward, and at about the 3/4 mark, you're going to let go of the button and it will cast. If you do not let go of the button, what will happen is the lower will smash down in front of you and you'll probably get wet. So once again, you're going to push the button, hold the button, go behind you, and about that 3/4 mark of your cast, you're going to let go of the button. Not a bad cast for a windy day. Let's check out casting the 202 now. On the 202, once again you will push the button and hold. The bail is open, so the line is taut. Once again, push the button, hold. For the overhead cast, you'll go behind your head, and at the 3/4 mark of that cast, you will let go of the button. Why don't we take a look once again at how we would do this with the 202. You're going to push the button and hold. Go over your head, and right about there, that 3/4 mark of that cast, let go of the button. Nobody likes getting wet when they splash themselves, but every now and again, it happens. For an underhand cast, hold the pole to the side, push the button, and release at the 3/4 mark of that cast. This is a good cast if you are trying to cast a far distance. Alright, so if this information was helpful to you guys at all, I would love it if you would hit that like and that subscribe button down there. Maybe leave a comment, let me know what else you guys would like to learn about. In the upcoming series, we're going to talk about spinner reels, bait casting reels, all different types of rods, and all different varieties of fish that you can be fishing for. I hope to see you guys next time. Take care.